Hello, my name is Scott Jones. I am president of Elite Controls, a full-service system integrator and control panel shop located here in Houston, Texas. Elite Controls is a full-service system integrator, control panels, specializing in your simple control panels all the way up to your large motor control centers. Today we're going to be talking about the Danfoss FC51 VLT Micro Drive using the quick menu setup. The Danfoss FC51 Micro Drive is a reliable variable frequency drive that's easy to set up and operation can handle from simple drive motions to complex control schemes. In order to set up a Danfoss FC51 drive in the quick mode setup, you need to first press the menu key until the arrows indicating the quick menu has been selected. You can then use the up-down arrow keys in order to select quick mode 1 or quick mode 2. For this demonstration, we're going to be using quick mode 1 that has all the settings that we are going to need. The first step after going to the quick mode setup is to select parameter 120. You do this by pressing the up or down arrow keys, and then when you have the selection that you need, you press OK. The first selection is parameter 1-20. Here you will enter the motor horsepower for the motor that you are going to control. Once you've selected the proper horsepower or kilowatt setting, then you press OK. Then you can go to the next menu, which is parameter 1-22, which will enter the motor AC voltage, which for our demo purposes is 460 volts AC. The next setting that you go to using the up-down arrow keys is set the motor base frequency according to the motor nameplate. Again, for our motor here in the United States, we're going to be using 60 Hertz. The next setting is to set the motor's full load current. Again, using the arrow keys, select parameter 1-24, press OK, and then for our example, we're going to be using 1.6 amps for the motor that we're using for this demo. The last motor setting that you need to set is parameter 1-25. It is the motor's nominal speed. For our purposes, we'll be setting this to 1,740 RPMs. You are now ready to test the motor to make sure it's operating properly. Once you set up the motor using the basic nameplate parameters in the FC51 drive, it is recommended that you now use the automatic motor tuning function built into the drive, or AMT. This tunes your motor parameters to be optimized for the exact motor characters that you're running and takes into account installation differences such as motor cable length or power factor of the motor. In order to enable the automatic tuning mode function in the Danfoss FC51 drive, using quick menu 1 as we were before, you go to parameter 1-29. The default option is 0, which is off. Option 2 enables AMT for a stop motor, and option 3 enables complete AMT for a running motor. It is recommended that you run option 2 when the motor is cold. Also note that when running option 2, the motor shaft may spin during the AMT process. Now that you've configured the motor correctly in the FC51 drive, you're now ready to configure the digital and analog inputs and outputs that are available on the FC51 Micro Drive. Pressing the menu button, you first navigate to the main menu. Here you'll have access to all the available parameters that can be used to set up the drive. They are too numerous for this short video. Please reference the VLT Micro Drive programming manual for the complete list. The VLT Micro Drive is available with 5 digital inputs, and these inputs can be programmed for several operations of the drive, including start, reverse, jog, reset, start forward, start reverse, to name a few. There are also several settings that are input dependent and allow more sophisticated control, such as speed sensors for setting up counters. For example, if you wanted to set terminal 18 as an input to jog the motor in the forward direction, you would first scroll to the main menu, use the up-down arrow keys to select parameter group 5 and press OK. Use up and down arrows to select parameter 5-10 to configure input for terminal 18 for jog operation by changing the value to a 14. Analog inputs can be configured for voltage input or current input, and there are several parameters that can be configured. Parameter 3-15 sets the primary source for the speed control. This can include analog input on terminal 53 or terminal 60, a pulse input, local bus for network drives, or your local control panel potentiometer. If you're using a voltage input, then set parameter 6-11 to set the high voltage value. If you're using a current input such as a 4 to 20 milliamp input, then set parameter 6-12 and 6-13 to set the high and low values. In most cases, there'd be 4 milliamps or 20 milliamps. Finally, your last parameters that you set is parameters 6-14 and 6-15. These set the corresponding high and low frequencies that you want to configure for your motor speed based on the current input or the voltage input that you previously configured. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about Elite Controls and Danfoss VLT Micro Drives. I encourage you to thoroughly read the programmer's manual or call Elite Control for some expert help with your VFD application.